Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another unboxing and review, and today, in the popular Star Wars line produced by Jazwares, we have the Micro Galaxy Squadron Razor Crest. So this is new, it came out recently, and when I say recently, I believe it came out the first week of August 2022. Previously, I reviewed the Millennium Falcon from Jazwares under their Micro Galaxy Squadron line. Excellent toy. I love that thing a lot. The price point for that, I believe, was maybe like $44 to $50. I got that at my local Target, and I think it's a beautiful rendition of the Millennium Falcon. Okay, this way I got tongue-tied. Millennium Falcon. And I'm hoping more of the same for this. The Micro Galaxy Squadron line has surprised me. I bought this on Amazon. I can't remember the price off the top of my head. Maybe anywhere between $35 to $39, I think. I might be wrong on that. So double check Amazon and see if it's there. I'm really excited to check this out. The sculpting and detailing on this looks beautiful. It looks very as close, as accurate as you can get to the studio model with it being a toy. So it looks cool. We got the Mission Fleet one from Hasbro. I think like a year ago, and that thing's a great toy also, much larger than this. This is smaller than the Mission Fleet one, but the Mission Fleet one felt, as great as that toy as that is, it felt like it was really meant to be played with. This one, it feels like it borderlines both on being a toy and a collectible, and the only reason why I say that is because it's a little bit more accurate than the Mission Fleet, and I think this has greater appeal to like older collectors and older Star Wars fans. If you're not into collecting toys or whatever, but you want a cool display piece, I think this kind of fits the bill, just because it's portrayed very realistically. So this is from Series 1. As you can see, it comes with a couple of minifigures. Comes with the Mandalorian, Greef Karga, and Grogu in the pram. This is very reminiscent also of the Micro Machines Action Fleet. So if you grew up in the 90s, you'll remember the old Micro Machines Action Fleet line of vehicles. Here are some of the play features. Much like the HasLab version, you can remove the side panel to access the interior. Has the ramp, which folds down. Beautiful artwork on the box. And then here's more of the play features. The cockpit opens. You can remove the top, so you can access the interior also from the top, in addition to the side. And then here's some of the other vehicles. I've seen these at Target. The light armor class and starfighter class, those are smaller, and they're kind of like blisters on cards. I haven't seen the Slave One or the Fire Spray gunship yet. And that's something I'm really interested in. I'm a big fan of, the Slave One from way back in the day. Okay, let's get started and take this out. One thing to mention also is that in the inside of the box, you get this cool cardboard insert. I think it'd be a good display background for your shelf. So, if you're one of those collectors that likes to display your action figures on a shelf and you need a nice backdrop, hold on to the insert in this box. Much like the Millennium Falcon, it's really well detailed and it's presented very well. Alright, so I'm not going to open this up. These are kind of small. I don't want to drop them, but it does come with a trio of minifigs right here. They're really well detailed for their size. And when I say size, I'm guessing they're probably about an inch tall each. Yeah, so each figure is roughly a little over an inch tall. And the detailing is nice for something like this. Greef Karga, you can kind of make out the likeness of Carl Weathers. And the Mandalorian looks pretty neat also. And there's Grogu in the pram. All right, let's get to the main event and talk about the Razor Crest. Okay, so first impressions, as soon as I took this out of the box, I was kind of surprised. I'm like, man, this thing feels pretty solid, and it felt nice to the touch. It's very small. You know, it could easily be handled with one hand. So if you're like a child, you know, I think this is the perfect play toy. You know, it's easily something a child could bring along, like if you're going on vacation or a road trip and you want to keep, you know, your kid busy in the back seat. You know, this is something you can easily play with. Really well done, really well sculpted. Yeah, like I said, it's nice and light. The detailing and paint, man, it looks awesome. All right, so let's take a look at this thing up close. Here's a nice forward view of the Razor Crest. As you can see, it has a lot of the signature detailing on the front. You have the lights on the bottom, the recesses, the panel lines, the scribe lines. The cockpit, it's a little foggy, but I think that's okay. You have the turrets on the side. There's no gimmick here. These are just strictly, you know, for display. They're not going to shoot missiles. This is the one piece I'd worry about. You know, as I'm holding this, they feel like they're made of a rigid plastic. So my big concern is if you're a parent and you get this for your child, it feels like the minute they drop this, you're going to snap one of these off. I kind of feel that Jazwares, you know, what they should have done is made the turrets made of like they should have used a softer rubbery plastic material as opposed to this harder plastic. Because like I said, you know, this feels like a very brittle, rigid plastic. I have a feeling if a child drops this, you know, say goodbye, these are going to snap in half. But at the same time, since they're made of a harder plastic, the sculpting and the detailing is going to be a lot more crisp and much more high definition. So there's a front view, really well done. Here's a profile. Again, when you view it from the side, you can kind of see that the proportions and the shape are very accurate to what you see on the show. You know, the underbelly, it's not completely flat. Much like the studio model, it kind of dips down a little near the landing strut. Now here's the back. You can see the deployment ramp right here. The back of the engines or the rockets. They're kind of painted like almost like a copper at the tail end of it. Let's get that into focus. Doesn't want to focus. Yeah, this does not want to focus. I think the light's coming off a little too bright on this guy. Here's top view. Again, you can see the proportions are pretty. Now, to me, they seem pretty accurate. I know initially when the show first debuted, I always thought the rockets were a lot larger, but I think this is the correct size. You know, in my head, I always thought these were like twice the size of what they look like here, but they're not. So proportion-wise, it looks like everything is as it should be. Although I do think there might be some liberties taken up towards the cockpit, I think. I think this might be slightly enlarged, just to accommodate the action figures. More detailing, another view. Here's the underside. And as you can see here, like for example here, this is where the forward landing strut, the rear landing struts, and then you have the side deployment ramp over here. And let's take a look at the struts to see how easy they come out. Yeah, you easily just take your fingernail. There's a tab there. Slide it underneath. Folds down. Likewise, there's two on each side. For this one, I believe you hook under here, lift up. And on this side, hook under there. And tab outward. Now, I think this might be inaccurate because on the toy, it looks like they're asymmetrical. It looks like this strut's kind of more forward while this one's more towards the back. I believe in the show, you know, they kind of fall within the same plane. You know, they're not staggered like this. I'm also noticing here there's two sockets right there and there, but they're absent on the opposite side. So I'm unsure of why that is. Let me take a look at the box. Let's see if there's any instructions. Alright, so unlike the Millennium Falcon, unless it's just me, I couldn't find an instruction sheet in the box. So, you know, I think everything here is supposed to be self-explanatory. And here's the side deployment ramp. Again, there's a tab. Hook your finger underneath. And it's really cool, too. They've gone to extreme lengths in terms of trying to provide authentic details. If you look on the inside of the ship, you can actually see the Mandalorian's weapon cache right there. So you can see his pistols and rifles. Unfortunately, those do not come off. They appear to be sculpted into the ship, but it's a great little tiny detail nonetheless. For the back, let's get this deployment ramp open. It's a little bit snug. It doesn't want to pop out. There you go. We got this right here. And if you look on the inside, you can actually see there's a carbonite. There's a small little carbonite thing there. I can't tell which character that's supposed to be. And the box said you can remove one of the side panels, which appears to be this one right here. As you can see, there's a small little recess right there, and you get your fingernail underneath, and hopefully it'll just pop right out. It's kind of a snug fit. I just want to... I don't want to do this, but let's see if it works. Yeah, that's really tight. I'd kind of worry about that. Here's the inside of the wall that popped out. It's nice that they're giving you a lot of details here. You can see backpacks, pouches. This is a nice balance. You know, I think what they provided here is a good toy that's aimed at both the collector and the child. You know, it's something that you can actually play with, and it's really neat. You know, all the details. You can see the carbonite right there with the prisoner. It has a lot of the authentic detailing also. You can kind of make out the mesh netting against the opposite wall. And then the top, according to the instruction, removes also. Now this was a minor complaint I had with the Millennium Falcon also. The instructions aren't the greatest, so you don't really know what you're doing half the time. And in the case of this, I didn't find an instruction sheet in mine, so. Okay, to open up the roof, towards the tail end, you're going to want to slide your fingernail under here and lift it like that. So you can lift it like this, and then don't force it up fully. Just lift it enough and slide it out, because it has these tabs here that plug into there. And then once you get this open up, you can see the interior, and it's, oh wow, this is awesome. The carbonite actually comes out. Wait, does it come out? No, it doesn't come out, right? So the small little carbonite guy with the prisoner, it's actually on a hinge, so it just rotates. It doesn't look like it pulls out. So you can have it either facing forward, or if you want, have it facing towards the side like that. And it looks like there's a small little clip here. I'm unsure of what's that for. Maybe there was an accessory. And then there's one thing I noticed too, there's another hinge right there. Oh wow, that's awesome. Wait. Okay, this is odd, so... Oh, I take it back. This does come out. You could very gently unclip the carbonite block. And as you can see, there's the prisoner. And then you can store the carbonite block in this little tiny closet right there. You take this, deposit it into that little closet piece. It's kind of hard to do because you really need small hands to do it. And then once you deposit the carbonite block into that closet, you could close the closet door like that. So that's kind of neat. I dig that a lot. I think this serves as, double purpose. If you want to, maybe you could fit a figure in there. So that's really cool. Man, I'm very impressed with this. For something this small, I think Jazwares really delivered. I am really stoked on Jazwares having, the Star Wars license. I'm a big fan of some of their other toy lines. Like I collect the AEW wrestling action figures and also their Halo action figures. And if you watch my reviews on the Halo stuff, I like glow every time I review their figures. I think the stuff they produce is really top notch and really well done. I'm hoping that with Star Wars is that they give us tons of toys. Like Hasbro hasn't produced as many Star Wars, action figures and playsets and vehicles like they did in the past ever since the Disney merger. So for me, I'm kind of hoping that with Jazwares, I hope they take the complete opposite approach of Hasbro and Jazwares. I'm hoping they just give us everything, And let's get the cockpit open real quick. It opens up easily. And then it looks like there's actually seating for 3 people, which is nice. So if I had to guess, there's a small socket there. You could probably insert the pram. There's the front seat. You can put the Mandalorian. And then you can fit 2 additional passengers. It's nicely detailed, beautifully executed, really well done. The paint application is great too. As you can see on the top, there's some weathering and battle scarring, so it looks a little bit more authentic. It almost has like an appearance of like a metal, oily finish over the whole thing, so it kind of like brings it to life a little bit more. It's not just a plain gray or silver plastic. They actually took the time to detail it. So overall, I'm very, very impressed with this, much like I was with the Millennium Falcon. If I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say an 8.5 to a 9. I think the only thing that might kind of hold it back is that it feels like it's a great toy, but at the same time, I think like little ones, like I'm talking about, children from like the ages of like 3 to like 6, this might be an issue because I have a feeling that there's stuff on here that they might accidentally break. As I pointed out earlier, the turrets are kind of like a harder plastic. You drop this, I think they're going to break off. I really feel like they should have went with like a softer plastic that borderlines like on like a rubbery side for the turrets. It kind of hurts it that there's no instructions because I don't think you're going to fully appreciate the play features unless you know what to do. Even though on the box it says this is removable and that's removable, they don't tell you how to do it, and there's some guesswork involved. And some of these pieces are very tight, and it's a very snug fit. For example, like right now, I'm trying to get the roof back onto the body of the ship, and it's kind of difficult. So, but otherwise, I think this is a great purchase. If you're an older fan of Star Wars and The Mandalorian, great, excellent display piece for work. Great to add to your shelf and to your collection. If you have a little one, and when I say little one, anywhere between the ages of 3 to 6, I would suggest, they handle it, but under your supervision. This is something that, you give it to a 3-year-old. I think by the time the day's over, parts of it might be broken off. But overall, I love this. It's fantastic. Really well done. Pretty accurate to what we see on the show. And, unlike the Mission Fleet, this is something that a child could easily handle with one hand. So it's awesome. The price point might be a little bit high, but I think it's well worth the money. All right, so with that being said, let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.